You're welcome back to News Today's segment. This segment, we do a lot of discussions, but today we are focusing on the agric revolution in Enugu State. Nearly a week ago, the Enugu State Governor, Dr. Peter Mbah, rolled out and flagged off distribution of fertilizers, power tillers, uh, different farm inputs. In fact, we saw stems of cassava. It was so humongous there. I think you can see that on the screen. Lots of farmers from the 17 local government areas of Enugu State. And along the line, I also heard 155 communities benefiting from this. There were lots of things on display, and we were even told that those things on display at Okpara Square were just the ones for the flag of that they had more at the ministry. So what is this about? Are these things going to the real farmers? That's the first question. And how will they sustain this now that they've started it, now that they've showed a sign that there is a commitment? Is there any plan for sustainability? I'm joined this afternoon on the news today by Dr. Mike Ogbuekwe. Dr. Mike Ogbuekwe is the Special Advisor to the Enugu State Governor on Agriculture and the Managing Director of the Enugu State Marketing Company. Good afternoon, Dr. Ogbuekwe. Thank you for joining me.
And thank you for having me here today.
So, lots of things on display at Okpara Square nearly a week ago, and I have to tell you, I witnessed it. People were happy. But just one question, because when the interviews were going on, one of the journalists asked, are you sure these guys that are all over the place are the real farmers? That was the question he asked, and I'm sure you were there when he asked it. I just wanted you to put that information out there, what the selection process for those who are beneficiaries of this agric inputs, what the modalities are.
Thank you so much, and thank you, our viewers. So yes, those people you saw are farmers, and the selection criteria, the way we did it was we went to the various towns, communities that make up Enugu State, and did enumeration of farmers. And we also opened up a farmers registration desk in the Ministry of Agriculture and the various agriculture divisions across the state, so farmers could come and register. So we have their names, we have for those that have NIN, we have that. So we have their phone numbers. We even went down to do geotagging of their farmlands. So yes, these are real farmers, these are people, and you know that if you go to the rural areas, Enugu is an agrarian state. Over 90% of economic activities that happen in our rural areas are agriculture-related, agriculture-based activities. And so you see a person that has a shop at Eke Market, at Ore Market. That person also has a farm at Agu, what we call Agu, farmland. So you see even civil servants that have to go home weekends to their farms. So farming is a way of life for Ndi Enugu, and we expect that as a minimum 40% of our GDP will be contributed to by agriculture.
All right. That's a good way to put it. It was quite elated for me to hear that you have a geotagging of the farmlands. So now that we've put that aside, let's talk about the fertilizers. Let me start from the fertilizers. What kind of fertilizers were on display that day? Because I understand that a particular kind of fertilizer will not be appropriate for all types of crops. Was there any consideration for the kind of things the farmers put into the ground before distributing the fertilizers?
Yes, we had NPK fertilizers, we had urea, we had organic fertilizers too. So we have different kinds of fertilizers that suit different kinds of crops and different kinds of soil across Enugu State. So the fertilizers we had are fertilizers that will help our farmers have bountiful harvest at the end of the day.
All right. So let's talk about the power tillers. A lot of people are possibly seeing it for the first time, up close, but they may be seeing it in videos elsewhere. But right now, they have the opportunity to use power tillers. Were they shown how to use it? Was there a kind of training, or are there people who are designated to handle the power tillers? Because it doesn't look like what everyone can handle because of the vibration.
Yes. So you see, the power tillers were distributed to farmers in clusters. So one power tiller could serve as much as 30 farmers in a cluster. So in that cluster, they have been registered and they put themselves together. So we have our extension officers that train our farmers. So they've been trained on the use of the power tillers. And you can see the power tillers are semi-mechanized, It's not like a full-blown tractor. So it's anybody that can ride a motorbike can ride a power tiller just without the stability issues with the motorbike. So the power tiller does not even require you to push. You just guide it along the rows of your farm. And the engine, the machine in the power tiller will drive you along and plow your soil, as the case may be. So it doesn't require any exceptional skill, but a usual farmer, a normal everyday farmer with the right training will use the power tiller. And yes, they have been trained. And many more are coming.
Okay, so we saw cassava stems, and we're also told that they had more. From where that came from, is it only cassava that we're given in terms of seedlings and farm input?
No, we are giving other seedlings. Of course, rice seedlings. We've always been giving seedlings. We've always been giving rice, especially the 5044 rice seedlings, the one that you can get yield of up to 5 metric tons upwards per hectare, and with the long grains. So if you look at the rice that we sell, we have our own rice brand in Enugu called
well, I'm coming to that.
Rice.
I'm coming to that.
The Enugu rice. So these seeds have been in distribution for a while. And for the cassava stems, we have a comparative advantage in cassava production. And so what we're doing is to ensure that the best varieties of cassava go inside the various nooks and crannies of Enugu State, so our people can continue to increase their yield of cassava production. So if you see how important cassava is, especially when it comes to bioethanol, converting this cassava to bioethanol, you can see that we're not supposed to be focused on just the cassava we eat, but the cassava that we are going to supply for industrial purposes. And you know that cassava chips, cassava starch, cassava chips are exported now. The Chinese are all over the place wanting cassava chips. What would they do with it? At the end of the day, they also want cassava starch, which is also addictive to pharmaceutical products and other products that they produce and we produce in Nigeria. So cassava is a high economic value product. And so don't be surprised that we have a lot of cassava out there. Our people are always looking for cassava, needing cassava. And cassava has a way of also holding the soil together while it's planted. So we have other seedlings we are sharing. Very soon we'll share maize and all of that. The cassava is very important to us.
Okay, let's look at, do you, as a government, that I mean Enugu State government, do we have some kind of plan in terms of the crops will have comparative advantage based on the topography and yield we have in Enugu State? You have a set of crops that you are focusing on, or are you going all out for everything?
Yeah, so I already mentioned cassava as a crop that we have comparative advantage. We also have comparative advantage in rice production. About 7 local governments in Enugu State do well in rice. And that's why Enugu State has our own rice brand called the Cool City Rice and Enugu Rice. So we also have comparative advantage in cashew production. Enugu, if you go all through Eziagu axis to Udenu axis, Uji axis, you name it, you see there are thousands of cashew trees, and our cashew nuts are considered as special and very sweet taste, and it's sorted by the international community. So this is something that we pay attention to. We also have a comparative advantage in production of maize. Maize is something that is a raw material for feed production, and we are going to be paying attention to that. We have comparative advantage in suka pepper. The suka pepper is has this unique.
AKA, okay, Osen suka.
aka
Yeah.
Ose Nsukka. Unique taste, unique aroma. So that's something we're also paying attention to.
All right. I mean, it's good to hear that, and meaning that for this to happen, you probably have clusters in the three senatorial zones of the state.
Yes, that's
So
right.
how is that? How did you align that? Because there are agrarian clusters, I believe. Can you
Yeah,
help maybe those
if
watching to know?
you go to Adani, for instance, in Uzuwan local government, we have the Ada rice cluster. That's for rice production. It's huge with irrigation. And so we're building newer clusters to keep increasing the number of smallholder farmers that are in organized spaces so that they can have better extension services given to them for them to produce higher yield in the same space of land that they were cultivating. You know, the difference between one man and the other could just be a little more skill, training, experience. So, and that's what we're doing. We have our program, the Fadama program that is reaching out to farmers. We have appeals that was reaching out. We have the International Fund AFAD that is also reaching out to farmers. And then we have the one that is helping with fixing our irrigation facility at Adani. So we have those clusters. We're working on them and we're bringing more to bear. We have some irrigation facilities that we're currently working on. The one at Eziagu and Ojo, the one at around Adani access that can cover up to about 2,000 hectares of land. So we're also working on reactivating them as we speak. So we have clusters and we continue to work on them until we get a wider spread across the state.
All right, two things I wanted to ask because I wanted to go back to the issue of the chemicals. Maybe you can call them herbicides, whatever. Uh, Usage of chemicals and whether those chemicals are the ones that are actually appropriate for use, because we understand that there are environmental concerns in the use of herbicides. I'm sure you understand what I mean. There are classifications. Uh, One would want to know whether these farmers understand these classifications in the way they use pesticides and even herbicides.
Yes, and that's why the farmers are being trained, and that's why we also have introduced organic fertilizers, organic herbicides. With time, we also train our farmers to learn how to use the local available resources to produce organic herbicides, such as the neem tree leaves. The neem tree leaves can be used to produce herbicides and pesticides, especially pesticides that would chase the pests away from. So that is in our plan, but we are training our farmers and they know. So that apart from the environmental issues, our health issues, because whatever you consume gets into your body. So we're aware of that and we're ensuring that our farmers remain aware for our own overall well-being.
Hmm. All right, so now let's talk about the Enugu State Marketing Company, because
Mhm.
you're also in charge of that. Because all this, when they are produced, they find their way to maybe a place that will be an outlet. Let me ask, it's not only rice that is sold there, is it? Is it only rice?
No, Enugu State Marketing Company is designed to be a marketplace that will help our people have access to products at a lesser cost. So you find all household items, products, consumable items, and foodstuff. So the idea is that we want to help our people have access to organized markets. And Dublin as a special advisor on agriculture, you can tell that we also want to help our farmers have access to organized markets. So, and we don't sell just rice. We sell cashew when it comes to agricultural products, palm oil, we sell honey, we sell crayfish, that's on the foodstuff, and others. But everything you get in a supermarket, we also have a supermarket. So you can walk in.
Within the premises?
Yes, we have a supermarket.
You know, just when one is passing, you just see all those bags of rice. You just think, but I understand there's a meal somewhere around there. So it sort of confuses people thinking that the only thing that's available there is rice. But it's heartwarming to know that there is actually a supermarket inside
Yes,
there.
it's a supermarket. So you see, the agri-business component of agriculture is very important. So when you produce food and you just go to a K market and sit down there to sell food, you see you don't get much value. So there needs to be a value addition. So what we are promoting, what we are teaching, and what we are practicing is food processing. So you add primary, secondary processing to the food that comes out of our farms, and then you now have the market, so a place where people can buy. So that we can see that the full spectrum of the value chain of agriculture is happening in Enugu State, and also see a way that our youth can oh, okay, I can actually come into agriculture through one end of the value chain. If I can't be at the production end in the farms, I could be at the processing end, or I could be at the packaging, or I could be at the marketing. So that's what we're doing with the marketing company, pushing out the made in Enugu products, and then helping our people that have products to showcase their products and get access to buyers.
Yeah, that is just one concern, which a lot of people have been sharing. That is the issue of security. They are saying that in a lot of the places where people have their farms, some of them are actually afraid of spreading their wings because of insecurity, because of concerns from herders. It's become a running and recurring problem. So, what is the Enugu state government doing about this? If you have ambitious plans for agriculture, I hope the plan for security is equally ambitious.
Yes, the plan for security is very ambitious. You see, this problem of the insecurity that spread into the farmlands is a nationwide problem, and one will wonder why it even started in the first place. How did it happen? But for us in Enugu, we're tackling head on. The governor of Enugu State is working closely with security agencies and is fighting and pushing. So if you check before when the current governor came in and now, you can see there's a big difference, a quantum leap in security in Enugu State. So people farm better now. People go to their farms, and the evil men, the people that disturb our people, have a mind of their own. But you can see that we're installing cameras everywhere, where the governor is making sure that he's applying technology in fighting crime. And I can tell you, within a short time, nobody can escape the long arms of the law, because the governor and his team, the security agencies, have their eyes on security of Enugu State. Because there's no way you can be telling people our doors are open for business, and then people will come and they are insecure. But when you look at Enugu State is the safest state in this region, in the southern region. And of course, when you come to the south, Enugu State is the safest. And that's why you see how the economic activities in Enugu have increased. People are people are relocating to Enugu State. So apart from agriculture, people are investing in real estate. People, every time you want to fly to Enugu, you have to wait for some days to get flight. So people do their traditional marriages in Enugu State. It's a good thing because Enugu State is the capital of the East. So I'm proud I'm from Enugu State. But it's a good thing that other people are also proud that they're from Southeast, and that they're proud to have Enugu State as their capital. So that speaks to security, the kind of security that exists in Enugu State. If you look around, I'm sure if you step out of your office, you see gigantic cameras being mounted along the major roads at all the entrance locations, the exit points of Enugu State. And that's a serious thing. There's a big control and command center sitting in the government house that all these cameras feed the videos to. So to have people watching, so things are happening quietly, things that you don't hear every day. And the governor is sits down there as the commander of the command center to ensure that all the things he sees every day, he's learning from it, he's tightening any loose end to ensure that in a short time we're all having a safe place to be in.
I think that's a good place to leave it. So, I mean, if you are the chief security officer, you have to be seeing things for yourself.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Dr. Mike Ogbuekwe is the special advisor to the governor on agriculture and the managing director of Enugu State Marketing Company. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For providing some insights on the agri endeavors of the state government. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Do follow us on all our social media handles at Afia TV Official. My name is Alex Obodo. Good afternoon.